Hello, 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 my audience. Hello. Here you go. Hi, good evening. My name is Fernando Dominguez. I'm here to give you an informative speech on the origin and a slight history of the Olympics. So first and foremost, I wanted to ask you guys, have you ever wondered how to make your name known to a vast amount of people? Well, basically, the reason I bring this up is because uh, back in back in the ancient Olympics, where it took place in Olympia, Greece, it originally took place in front of the Temple of Zeus. The reason it took place in the Temple of Zeus, in front of the Temple of Zeus, was mainly because they wanted to their deity Zeus. They wanted to praise him. So whenever somebody died or fought in the name of Zeus, they would be praising him in a way. This originally took place in the year 776 BC, and ever since then, they would have the Olympics every 4 years, which would be considered as an Olympiad. The ancient Olympics originally ended in 393 AD when the Olympia was conquered by the Roman emperor, who thought that the Olympics were just a pagan ritual to, praise Zeus, and the Romans didn't like that. So then the Olympics didn't start up again until 1859. This is when we get more into the more modern day Olympics that we have today, and it started in Athens, Greece. Back then, the penalty for cheating in the ancient Olympics was you'd get whipped until dead in front of the entire audience. During this time, during the Olympics, during the events, every city and colony that was within the area or going to participate in these events would have to submit to a truce amongst each other. Otherwise they couldn't enjoy the festivities of these events. Then came the Battle of Olympia, the Battle for Olympia. Once they saw that whoever controlled Olympia controlled the games, they thought that controlling the games gave you more political power over the other cities and colonies. The idea of the Olympics began when there was two soldiers competing against one another. They had just gotten done from battle. I can't specifically remember which battle, but back then they thought that the superior person would win in battle. So that began the first wrestling event in front of the Temple of Zeus. Some of the Olympic events that conspired in the ancient Olympics that we use today are things such as the javelin, wrestling, sprints, and the marathon. The marathon was actually thought of in the Battle for Marathon. One of the leaders had told every one of his soldiers to sprint towards the city of Marathon, and this led to the defeat of the soldiers in Marathon because they just couldn't think of what to do because there were a bunch of soldiers just sprinting towards them. The javelin obviously started with a spear throw. It started with them trying to see who can throw a spear the farthest, and then wrestling obviously started when those two soldiers first started wrestling in front of the Temple of Zeus. And sprints, it started off with a line of 10 soldiers from each city and colony sprinting from one end of the stadium back and by the end of this would be considered a very high praised event. But basically, anything that conceded with them praising Zeus was converted in any of these events. But any of that? Any questions? No. Well, that was my informative speech on the origin of the Olympic events. Thank you.